how we should view the future. Okay. How we should view, how we should view education in the future. I think it's about time we really should start the goal, the mission statement for education for students should be for every student to know everything about everything. I think it's possible. I don't think that's overreaching at all. And this is related to some other videos I've made about how we should holographize education, where you basically, since the person is 3 years old, you basically teach them everything since they're 3 years old. And I made an example of my my timeline. They should have my history timeline should be on the walls of every single school, from a preschool to a grade school to a middle school to a high school, including the preschools, because preschoolers can see that stuff and they can understand it in levels that even adults can't in a lot of ways. I remember when I was a child, I had a different relationship with history than I do as an adult, and I had a deeper relationship with history in a lot of aspects. I had past life remembrance, past life memory relationship with history, and I think we all do. Like, when I was a kid and I'd look into the 1800s, I could actually feel the aura of the 1800s, about how the 1800s was basic, because they didn't have running water out there in the in the mountains and stuff, and it was still all of the hardships, like cold and all that stuff, but it was also it was the most modern age that had ever been. Same thing with the 1700s, and a special relationship with the 1700s. It was when everything most of this household stuff that we know of today got developed, like shoelaces and what else? I don't have a lot of them on the top of my head, but yeah, like a lot of, toothbrushes, this kind of stuff were invented in the 1700s. And, but when you're a kid, you actually understand that on a intuitive level. Like you were there, and then the 1600s, just from looking at pictures, little kids can look at pictures. There's a lot of stories of little kids looking at pictures and saying, oh, I was that guy in a past life. And so basically exposing children to my timeline, since they're the age of 5, they're gonna it's not too much for them, because they're gonna have, especially when you have pictures, like if it's on the internet. But yeah, to have a room, like this is the 1700s room and this is the 1800s room, they can connect with that, and then they grow up with that, and then it develops within them, and it teaches them. You tell them, oh yeah, one day you're going to know all of that. Oh really? Yeah. So then they have that expectation. So by the time they're 20 years old, they do know everything about history. They know out of hundreds of kingdoms, you name one and they could tell you where it was, when it was, why it started, why it ended, what its political system was, what their religion was, what their personal relationship with that kingdom was. Same thing with wars and inventions and all that stuff. And but not just history, also medicine and geography and politics. I think it's perfect. I think now's the time for us to make that the mission statement. I think the mission statement, I think I read it once in Boulder a few years ago. The mission statement of the Boulder. Oh yeah, because when I go back to Boulder, I apply for teaching jobs. obviously I'm never going to get a teaching job because I'm too weird. But and I don't have my teaching education certificate because they kicked me out. But I think the MO for them is to develop like responsible citizens. But I think it should go beyond that, not just to develop a responsible citizen society, but to basically have people who know everything. It's and I mean, obviously you're not going to know everything when you're 20 years old, but you're going to be like the cannonball that has just left the cannon. And it's not, or not a cannonball, a rocket that has just left the cannon. And then you're just gonna power yourself through the rest of your life because you've had everything exposed to you that you're never going to fully absorb by the time you're 20, and never completely absorb for the entirety of your infinite existence as a soul. But you can see that it's all there, and so then you're just constantly running after it the rest of your life because you have all of these. And I think we should make these big maps, these big graphs. Turn education into art, like my timeline, where it has everything. Well, we should have like a zoology map, a politics map, where all the different political systems, all the different bills ever invented, right there, boom. And so you can and of course the test, where you have the opportunity to try. Nobody can get 100%, but you have the opportunity to try to study that. So yeah, what you may be thinking, oh well, then didn't you say for everybody to know everything that there is to know? But you just said it's impossible. Well, yeah, everybody to feel like they know everything that there is to know, like they feel like they know an adequate amount. You could ask them, because they know everything about every single unit of every subject. So you could ask them about anything, like tell me about medical law, and they'll have an idea about it, and their idea will be strong enough so that they think they know everything about it when they're telling you. And so that's what I mean. You could ask them about the history of shoes, and they go, oh yeah, this, that, and that. See, I know, haha. Because when you get like, uneducated people, illiterate people inside of like getting drunk inside of like their tavern with each other, they talk to each other like they know everything. Oh, that idiot president does no shit. And so people have built in their personalities, have that the capacity to have opinions about just about anything. And that's basically what the MO should be, is for us to know everything about everything. And and plug in the idea about the holograms. Okay, so that's that for that.